how could you create this neat scrolling header effect with CSS alone? Recently saw this on a post that popped up, and it's pretty cool. Like as you scroll, the text kind of switches out like a mixed blend mode, and then it's positioned sticky, and then it kind of goes away with its section. Funny enough, I only just noticed that this person's expression changes as you scroll as well. You could do that with a sprite animation or something like that. Let me know if you want me to show you how to do that as well in another video, but I had to have a play at trying to build this just using CSS. So I dug in, had a look in the dev tools to see what was going on, and on inspecting these letters, I could see that as I was scrolling, the inline styles are being updated, right? Like you can see here, this translate 3D. As I scroll, something's getting updated, and I think that's accountable for why it feels like a little bit jittery. So how could you do this with CSS alone? And that jittery effect, like you'll see what I mean when I come out of DevTools here, it takes a second for it to like morph and catch up. And there we go, like it's back in the room. Cool effect though. So let's dig into some code for our side. Real basic page. Nav header with some text in it, and then we've got an image underneath to like mimic this section, and then just some content underneath so we can scroll the whole page and see the position sticky effect. Position sticky, that's coming. So how the page works: foundation styles, yep, all good. That will just lay out the content and give it some color and like sizing and things. But the trick part is down here. So the trick is to have our header piece, and then the H1 is position sticky inside it, and we've given it a top, which is the nav height, which we've stored in a custom property, and some padding, which we can choose. I think this is set to 15 viewport height units. And then the trick, like for the layout side of things, is to make sure the image has a top margin that is equivalent to the top of that H1 plus the font size plus like whatever buffer you want. Here I've just done padding nav just to make sure it's there, and this just for example. The trick part here though is mixed blend mode. So if we see how the demo looks, and I can explain this, but our first take here is like as we scroll, the H1 sticks, and then it changes right as we scroll. Like it's going from this black to white. But the issue is because we're using mixed blend mode, like you can see here, like the image underneath is obviously blending with the text, and it's not quite the effect we want. It's pretty cool, but like it's not what we were after. If it is what you're after, like feel free, like take it and use it. But how that works is the header, or like the backdrop of that element where the H1 and the image is, has to be set to white, and then the color of the text has to also be set to white, and then you set a mixed blend mode of difference, and that causes it to be black, and then when it's on a black background it will change to white. So that's why we have the image with grayscale and opacity, no, just grayscale and brightness toned down, I think, and it causes the text to change to the white color, which makes sense, and you get that effect. It's pretty cool way of doing it. But what if like you want to make sure the text stays a different color? Like you need some other way of doing it. So with the same markup, you can make just a slight change, and here is that slight change. So we have our header as before, but what we want to do is duplicate the header. So we have two headers, and they're going to stay in the same position, and one's going to sit behind and one's going to sit at the front. And as you scroll, one's going to get covered and the other one's going to get revealed. It's a little trick of the layout and Z indexing. It's going to make sense though. So if we have a look, let's have a look at the demo first. I can show you it in action. So as you scroll, and then it clips like our mixed blend mode did, but there's no image sort of like shining through, which is exactly what we wanted. I And to prove that's the case, we can hop into our styles for this, and we'll change the color to be like a red. So let's change it. Yeah, so now we have this red color popping out. So how is that working? The trick, if we go back into our styles, all the same kind of setup styles here, but the trick is different. Still the sticky positioning, we stick both of them, but the second header that sits inside is position fixed, because it doesn't matter if it sticks, because once it's hidden, we're not going to see it again. So it can just be behind all the content as you keep scrolling. And to make sure it sits behind, z-index 0. And this is the trick of the whole thing. This is how this works. You clip away the piece of the main content that you don't need to see at the start. And as you clip away the top, that's where your sticky header is. And as you scroll, the sticky header reveals itself underneath out of the clipped area and shows itself. So you have this clip path that's clipping the top using inset, and it's a combination of the nav height, the font size of the header, and the padding. So if we go into our demo again, all right, that's cool, right? So this main piece here, where this red header is, the red header is always here, but it's clipped. So if we inspect this, take the responsive piece off, and actually dig in here, look, you can see there, as you highlight, the main is there. So if I unclip it here, there it is. It's always there. And you can see it there. If we use the over scroll, you can see it's bouncing around underneath, but then we re-clip it, and as you scroll, it's sticky, so it just reveals itself. It's kind of a fun little trick. I was pretty happy when I solved it. But I put together this demo as well that kind of shows it broken down. It kind of makes sense because you can explode it. As you explode it, here we have it. You got your two headers at the same time, the same margin set by custom properties, and this is your clipped section. And as you scroll, that header stays in place the whole time, but the clipped piece kind of goes out of view and reveals the sticky header that's underneath. So the clipped top kind of becomes redundant as it scrolls out, and then as you scroll out, it's positioned sticky, so it just goes away with its parent. So sticky position header inside the main that's clipped to start, fixed position header sits behind and gets covered by main, so you never see it again, and you clip the top of the main to hide the sticky header. And that is the trick. That is how you can create that effect. No need for any inline style setting via JavaScript or monitoring scroll. It just lean into how HTML, CSS structure, and just using some layout and some position sticky, and it's pretty cool. That's the effect you get. So I hope that explains it, and any questions, let me know, and stay awesome.